sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our second deep dive of the day, you guys. Okay. So this one is all about Morgan Wade breaking her silence after Dorit claimed the musician's relationship with Kyle Richards caused the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills castmates' friendship to, quote, suffer. Okay? To, quote, suffer. And I have the receipts, and by receipts, I mean I have the video. So we have the video of Morgan Wade, responding to Dorit saying that Kyle kind of, backed away from her when she got closer to Morgan. And then we also have the clip from Dorit being on Watch What Happens Live when she said it. And then I'll share my thoughts on the entire situation of what's going on. Okay. So let's begin. So this is from Reality T. It says, almost as soon as it came out that Kyle Richards was having troubles in her marriage to Mauricio Umansky, fans turned their gaze to Morgan Wade. Rumors spread like wildfire of an affair between the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star and the country singer. However, it seemed Kyle's relationship with Mauricio wasn't the only one being affected by Morgan. On a recent episode of Watch What Happens Live, fellow Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley had a word to say concerning Morgan. Dorit said she felt the closer Kyle got to Morgan, the further she got from me. As of December 8th, Morgan was made aware of Dorit's comments and gave an initial response. Okay, so now let's watch that clip from Watch What Happens Live, and then we will get into Morgan's response, okay? Here we go.
Dorit Lake M wants to know how Kyle's new friendship with Morgan Wade affected your friendship with her.
I mean, she'll kill me, but I feel like the closer she got with Morgan, the further she got from me.
Wow.
But I don't think I'm the only one. I just think that
feels that way.
It does.
Wow. Interesting.
Sorry, Kyle, I love you, but it's the truth. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Dorit, girl, bye. See, this is the thing. I think both things are true, but also not true. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Do I think that Kyle herself has distanced herself from certain relationships and has sort of clung to this Morgan Wade fantasy relationship? Yes, but I think that's more of just what Kyle herself is going through with her best friend passing away, with the estrangement from her family, with the cheating allegations from Mauricio. I think that Kyle herself, like a lot of people do when they either reach a certain age or they are in crisis, because I think Kyle has been in crisis, they tend to shut out certain people and sort of what word am I looking for? When you idolized, and they sort of idolize certain people or certain relationships in almost a fantastical way. Like I think that Kyle idolizes her relationship with Morgan. And it's almost like a fantasy for her. It's almost an escape. I don't think that's how Morgan feels about Kyle. And we're going to talk about that because when we watched Morgan's clip, I want us to put our candy cane critical thinking caps on and really look at her body language. Look at how Morgan speaks. Look at how she moves. Look at her eyes. Look at how her body responds when the paparazzi says Kyle's name. Look at how her body responds when they ask her certain questions, because I think that's really what's telling here. But back to Ding Dong Dorit. So when it comes to Ding Dong Dorit, yes, I do believe that Kyle has sort of, isolated herself from certain relationship and has idolized other relationships as a coping mechanism. But I don't think that's the crucial reason why she's distanced herself from you, Dorit. I don't think you can talk about you and Kyle's friendship suffering without talking about the rumor heard around the world that you and Mauricio were having an affair. I don't care that Kyle tried to laugh it off at the reunion, and that's the only time anybody at Bravo has ever talked about it, pretty much. Maybe one time Watch Happens Live when she's like, oh, they're just ridiculous rumors. I'm sorry. That is the biggest, juiciest elephant in the room of this entire season. It's not just that Mauricio is cheating. It's not just Kyle is having an affair with Morgan. It's Mauricio and Dorit allegedly have an affair. That is huge. That is a huge rumor. Whether you believe it's true or not, words have energy, and there are consequences to certain words that people say and use. And I don't care what anybody says. When you are close to someone, you're a couple pair, and there is a rumor, and not just a rumor, but multiple rumors, and not just private, but very, very public, that your best friend and coworker is having sex with your husband. I don't care how strong your friendship is. I don't care how strong your marriage is. There's going to be consequences to that. And I think for Dorit to dismiss the consequences of those rumors, true or not, that's why we, have to be careful with things like that, because true or not, it's going to have consequences. And I think for Dorit to not acknowledge that, not just on Watch What Happens Live, but in general, on the show, she's still being like, Kyle, you're just being so distant. Kyle, you're being so weird. I haven't seen you. We haven't been close. We haven't talked. PK and Mauricio, they haven't seen each other either for a while. We haven't gone out as couples. Like, I don't know what's going on with Kyle. Hello? You know what I'm saying? And obviously, both marriages, PK and Dorit's, and Kyle and Mauricio's, have suffered. Because it's not just Kyle who has to deal with it. However you feel about PK, I actually really like PK. Do I think he's a fraudster? Yeah, but I actually kind of like him. He's a bit of a vibe. PK also has to deal with, well, wait a minute, one of my best mates, one of my almost business partners. There's also a very public rumor that he's sleeping with my wife. That also has a consequence on a marriage. So there's also reasons maybe why PK is in London all the time now. Maybe there's another reason why PK isn't wearing his wedding ring. Maybe there's a reason why PK is allegedly living in the Beverly Hills or the Beverly Hilton hotel and not at home with you, Dorit. You got to look at it both ways. PK may do his little bankruptcy insurance scams, allegedly, but he's still a human being. And I love to kiki and I love to shade, and it's so much fun, and I'll do it forever. But at the end of the day, I also like to look at these people as humans. And as a human being, there is a consequence to being like, is one of my best friends having sex with my spouse? It just is. It just is. No matter how you slice it, it just is. And for the entire season to act like this rumor doesn't exist, to me, is a big reason why the season is failing a little bit. It's a huge elephant in the room. And then for Dorit not to acknowledge that and to blame Morgan, it's a huge elephant in the room. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, let's move on to Morgan's response, okay? So in a video shared with the Daily Mail, and I have the video, so we'll watch it, one inquisitive, quote, fan, it's not a fan, by the way. So the article says fan, but it's not a fan. It is clearly a paparazzi person. Caught Morgan exiting the airport. When asked if she'd been spending the holidays with Kyle, Morgan laughed and shook her head, reporting that she was heading home to be with family. Morgan further stated she was unaware of Dorit's comments. Wow, I didn't see that, she said. I don't have any thoughts on it. As for whether she liked her appearance on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Morgan explained, it's different for me. I mean, it's not what I want. It's not what I do, but, it's cool for other people. She then said she'd likely stick to just playing music. When asked if she might appear again, she shook her head with a smile. She says, I'm good. Nothing against anybody or anything. That's all cool, but I'll leave that to them. I'll leave it to the pros. Unfortunate news for the fans for hoping to see Morgan Wade return to the world of Housewives, though there probably weren't many feelings such a way. As for Dorit and Kyle, we'll just have to wait and see where they land. Okay, speaking of seeing where people land, we're going to watch the video of Morgan's response, okay? And like I said before, put on your candy cane critical thinking hats. Watch her body language. Watch her eyes. Watch how she moves. Watch the cadence she uses, okay? Because it's not what she says, it's how her body responds to it. And then we'll get into it, okay? Here we go.
Morgan, wow, you got eyes like a hawk. Really short and simple. How are you spending the holidays?
Back home with family.
Back home. Kyle says she's spending it here with her family, so not together. No, I mean, the holidays are long. Christmas, New Year's. All right, let me ask you this. So Dorit Kemsley, Kyle's castmate, was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen the other night. And she said that her relationship with Kyle essentially suffered the closer she got with you.
I didn't see that.
Well, it was on last night. It was on last night, Wednesday night. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts.
No thoughts? Would you ever make an appearance on Real Housewives?
I did, like last week.
Last week? I don't watch. See, I should watch more. Do you like it?
It's different for me. I mean, it's not what I do, but it's cool for other people. Like, I don't know. I play music. That's what I'm good at.
But even your twang, you got a southern twang, you got a southern, to be in the Real Housewives at Beverly Hills, that's something new for them as well, you know? More of that? Do you want to do more of that?
No.
You good?
Not really. I'm good. Nothing against anybody or anything. That's all cool, but I'll leave that for them.
Just not really your thing. You'll leave it to the pros.
I'll leave it to the pros.
You do what you do, they'll do what they do.
I'll do it, yeah.
All right, take care, Morgan. Thank you. Bye.
I don't know about you, but Morgan looked like she had disgust and disdain. That's just how I read it. But I want to know what you guys think. How did you read Morgan's body language? I apologize if the video was grainy and you couldn't see too well. I did the best I could getting the video for you guys. So let me know if you read her the same way I did or if you read her differently. I want to know what your opinion is either way. So for me, I kind of feel like, and I've said this before, where I land on Morgan and Kyle. I do think that Kyle, I think their origin story is genuine. I do think that Kyle was going through it. Her friend had passed away. She gave up drinking. She was facing not trying to get depressed, thinking about her entire life. And she hears this music and she gets enthralled and she finds Morgan on Instagram and sort of, like Morgan said, stalks her. Then I think Morgan's team and her friends are like, oh my gosh, Kyle Richards of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with Paris Hilton and Kathy Hilton and Bravo and NBC and all of this stuff. Whoa, this could be great for your career. I think they're looking at their relationship from two very different lenses. I think that Kyle is really in crisis on a human being level. I do think Kyle is in crisis. I think maybe she's getting through it now since it's been a while, because remember, what we're watching now on camera has been filmed months ago. So where she is currently, I hope she's in a better place. But I do think Kyle is in crisis. And I think that she is idolizing this new friend. And she's almost living in this escapism fantasy through Morgan, right? Because she's in crisis and this is the way that she's coping. Whereas I think that Morgan sort of, blink twice, Morgan, if he has to come and save you. I think Morgan's team was like, this could be a cash grab. That's what I really think. I think they were like, let's get you in with Kyle. Let's get you on the show. Let's get you on social media. Let's get you in the blogs. Let's get you on page 6 on Radar Online because we can get you some more followers, some more clicks and views. We can get you on the award shows. We can get you, on tour, selling merch. Like Morgan Wade now, we're all talking about her. We know who she is. She's going on tour with Alanis Morissette. She's doing all these different things. Kyle is doing a documentary on her. Like, we would not have known, and by we, I just mean like the majority of the world, who Morgan Wade was for not Kyle Richards and her association with her. So just from a purely marketing and PR standpoint, this was a complete glow up, both from her brand awareness and from a monetary standpoint for Morgan. And I think Morgan understood the assignment of just play along to get along, but I think her soul is so not in it. Just cringing every single time. Her soul is just not in it. That's what I think. I don't think that they have this sort of teenage, lesbian, exciting love affair. And I don't mean lesbian in a derogatory way, obviously, not at all. I'm just saying that because that's they're the two of them as women, and that's what that relationship is called. Obviously, no disrespect by any means. I want to be very clear on that. But I don't think it's sort of that. I think that Kyle is idolizing the relationship and it's like a point of escape for her. But I think for Morgan, it's a cash grab. And now if you look, Morgan came with Kyle to like Kathy's had like 20 holiday parties. But at her latest holiday party, Morgan was there with Kyle and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Kyle brought Morgan." You have to understand that these quote holiday parties, the ones that we are aware of, by we I mean it's in the blogs and content creators are going and covering it, right? Those are not actual holiday parties. Those are press days. What I mean by that is the people in attendance are bloggers, content creators, YouTubers, podcasters, the press and the media. And then they'll have sprinkled in some of, Kathy's famous friends. They're doing photo ops, they're wearing pajamas, they're doing gifting, they're hosted by DirecTV. Those aren't actually Kathy Hilton's inner circle family private holiday parties. If we are seeing it, it is a press op. Morgan showed up to work. You see what I'm saying? Like, you really got to think about this stuff. If we are seeing it, and if content creators are going, if Page Six is covering it, if it's sponsored, those are press ops. The real parties that people really have, I mean, like their actual parties, we will never know about them. We will never know about them because that's where the real ish goes down. You understand what I'm saying? There will not be a blogger insight. There will not be a step and repeat. It will not be on Twitter. It will not be on YouTube. It will not be on Radar Online. When they have their real parties, we're not going to know about it unless you are part of their actual inner circle. So the whole thing about Morgan coming with Kyle, it's a photo op. Morgan showed up to work. And that's just my opinion on it. That's my opinion on it, you know? But there's people who think otherwise. They think, nope, Kyle and Morgan, they are, two giddy women who are in love. They're just super excited about being together. They have a special relation, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. So some people think that they really are dating and seeing each other, and it's more than just a friendship. So if that's what you think, I want to hear that too. I want to hear all perspectives and all opinions. Everybody's perspective is welcomed here. Everybody's opinion is welcomed here. So whether you agree or disagree, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think, so put it down below and just let me know what you guys think, put it down below. But before you do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. Oh, and I have another question. What do you think of Dorit saying that it's because of Morgan that her and Kyle drifted? I gave my insights on it. I want to know what you guys think. And then I also want to know what you guys think on Morgan and Kyle in general. All right. Now let's move on to our third story of the day, which is Kyle versus Sutton.